Now we start with the developing situation coming out of the United Nations, where the promise of never again has been broken. The chair of a UN Commission of Inquiry said on Gaza after releasing a report finding Israel guilty of genocide. The report cites mass killings, forced displacements, aid blockages and the destruction of a fertility clinic. It says Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other top officials, including President Herzog and former Defence Minister Yoav Gallant, incited these acts. It called them direct evidence of genocidal intent. Israel rejected the findings, calling them scandalous and claiming a political agenda. Pillay warned the ongoing genocide is a moral outrage and legal emergency. The Commission is independent and does not officially speak for the United Nations, which has not yet used the term genocide. Let's take a listen in to what the chair of the said UN Commission of Inquiry, Navi Pillay, and a member of the UN Commission of Inquiry, Chris Sodotti, had to say.
Today we witness in real time how the promise of never again is broken and tested in the eyes of the world. The ongoing genocide in Gaza is a moral outrage and a legal emergency. Member states must act now. There is no need to wait for the International Court of Justice to declare it a genocide. All states are obligated to use whatever means within its power to prevent the commission of genocide. And so we urge member states to ensure accountability for any crimes that have been committed and prevent further crimes from being committed, not just in Gaza, but the entire occupied Palestinian territory.
These reports should be taken seriously, but honestly, the Israeli responses are becoming so boring. You know, they say the same thing every time. They're producing the responses by ChatGPT these days, and they spend so much money in the Foreign Ministry on propaganda, you'd think that they would actually come up with something original. I would want them to engage with the evidence, but they never engage with the evidence. They put the report into ChatGPT, and then they put out the standard response. So no one takes it seriously, and Jamie, you shouldn't either.
We're now joined by Ali Mohammed Abushbak. He's an independent Palestinian researcher joining us from Cairo in Egypt. Thank you very much, Ali, for joining us here on the programme. Ali, how significant is this that a UN Commission of Inquiry has formally accused Israel of genocide, even if the United Nations itself, of course, has not used that word?
Thank you, Thomas, for having me. The thing is, it's meaningless, Thomas, honestly speaking, because there is no one can stop and hold Israel's attack in Gaza City or Gaza Strip, also in West Bank. So the description or calling the genocide or calling ethnic cleansing, it will not make any change. Despite Israel deny this accusation and this also consider it as a propaganda and anti-Semitism, that will not make a change. Maybe that will impose the morale of the Palestinian on the ground, the United Nations giving them some support, and there is some attention turned from the international community. Until unless the war in war, the world, it will not make any change. Threatening and describing the situation on the ground, it will not make any change until unless there is no action. And this is the significant issue, and the Western country and the whole international community, it's only witnessing and silence without anything. Condemnation and denouncement will not make a change on the ground.
Yes,
How many countries condemned the Israelis' airstrike in Qatar and also in Gaza, and they are going to recognize the Palestinian statehood? But on the ground, there is nothing. Yesterday night...
Ali, quickly, apologies, we'll move on to what's going on the ground in just a second. But this report, it names Prime Minister Netanyahu, President Herzog and former Defence Minister Yoav Gallant of directly inciting genocidal acts. What kind of accountability should the region be pushing for here?
with the impunity. So there is nothing. As I think, as it's over the international law, as over the international conventions. According to Geneva Conventions, the civilians are protecting according to the protocols. But Israel also targeting the civilians' infrastructure, civilians' belongings, civilians' homes. We have seen last week how many high-rise citizen and civilians unit Israel bombard. Yesterday night, Palestinians, they described the night as a heroes of the day of judgment. So you can't imagine. Yesterday night, Israel bombarded several of area in Gaza continuously without one single moment of silence.
Okay.
Continuously bombardment, continuously there is artillery shields, there is a quadcopter shooting civilians. Most of the civilians lie on the ground, on the street. There are shelterless. So this is confirm how much the desperate civilians in Gaza city, they have no other choice. According to Israelis estimated, there is around 300,000 of civilians flee Gaza city, but there is also 1 million they couldn't able to leave. Where they should go? 1 million civilians can't be settled down in Mawasi Khan Yunis. Mawasi Khan Yunis, the humanitarian aid, humanitarian zone that Israel described it, there is a continuous bombardment. There is a continuous targeting of civilians at that area. So no need for description about genocide or no. The evidence, it's visible for everyone on the ground. Civilians, only the casualties. If you will see the footage yesterday night, all the casualties, children, they are suffering from the amputation.
Yeah.
So I can't believe it. Also, Israel bombarded Asumud flotilla, also bombarded Qatar. So also yesterday, it was a bombardment in Lebanon. Yes.
Ali, do stay with us. We have some further developments from the issue. We have international leaders' reactions that have started pouring in on the UN inquiry, condemning the report that has come in. Germany has strongly opposed the report which has come out. Germany's Foreign Minister Johanna Wadepool says Berlin opposes the operation of Israel going into Gaza City and is pressing Israel to pursue ceasefire talks and a deal to free hostages. He called Israel's new ground assault on Gaza City completely wrong. The Swedish Foreign Minister Maria Malmer Stalingrad has also slammed the Israeli ground assault, saying they are extremely worried about the Gazans. Let's take a listen in to what the German Foreign Minister and Swedish Foreign Minister had to say.
Die im Bericht beschriebenen Vorfälle sind außerordentlich besorgniserregend. In bewaffneten Konflikten sind alle Parteien an das humanitäre Völkerrecht gebunden. Um das Leiden in Gaza zu beenden, ist es entscheidend, aus unserer Sicht, das haben wir immer wieder betont, dass es endlich zu einem Waffenstillstand kommt. Die neuerliche Offensive in Richtung Gaza-Stadt ist in dieser Hinsicht die vollkommen falsche Richtung. Wir lehnen das ab und haben das auch gegenüber der israelischen Regierung deutlich gemacht. Das ist ja letzten Endes auch die Basis für die Restriktionen, die wir bei den Waffenlieferungen als Bundesregierung vorgenommen haben.
Today's news about the attack on Gaza City, we from the Swedish side are extremely worried, and we have been very clear from the very beginning when these plans were presented that any change by force of territory would be a breach of international law. And we are extremely worried about the situation in Gaza, and we mean that we need to put more pressure on the Israeli government to let humanitarian aid in, but also on Hamas.
Meanwhile, the European Union has warned that Israel's ground assault on Gaza City could worsen the humanitarian crisis. The EU says the military operation will cause more destruction, death and displacement and put hostages' lives at risk. UN Rights Chief Volker Turk has also urged Israel to halt its ground operation in Gaza City, warning that the ongoing carnage must stop immediately. Turk called the destruction wanton and stressed the urgency to end the violence. We are once again joined by Ali Mohammed Abushbak to discuss this further. Ali, Germany, one of Israel's closest allies, yet his foreign minister has now called this ground offensive completely wrong. It's also, of course, paused some arms going to Israel. How big and how much of an impact has Germany's shift in momentum away from Israel been in its conflict in Gaza?
It's just only a moral symbolic for the Palestinian and for the regional audience, only. And also it will not impact the relationship, a tight relationship between Israel and Germany as the strongest and as a closest ally with Israel. Always Germany used to take a stand to Israel, not even neutral. But it's only giving a moral for giving a hope for the desperate civilians. But it's meaningless. Urge and calling for ceasefire, it will not make a change on the ground. It's not a change maker on the ground. As well as condemnation, it will not. I'm confused. If United Nations urge the international community to take an action, and also international government, the Western government urge to take an action, they are urging whom? They are calling whom to take an action? If the United Nations, one of the powerful agency and organization in entire the world, they can't take an action to halt and stop the war, then who will stop it? Palestinians should stop it, or Israeli, or I can't believe in that. It's only giving a morale. It's just only by speech that do not put themselves in the elimination of their community, because there is a protest, continuous protest in Western country, as well as today in Israel itself. There is a huge protest taking the street in Tel Aviv to demanding to stop the war. So the thing is, now they are embarrassed from the public opinion, from their people. They couldn't do anything. It's like a complicit with this genocide or in this war in Gaza by keeping silence. It's like paralyzed this international community and United Nations. So I don't understand who will stop the war. If Hamas going to release the hostages, Benjamin Netanyahu, he will find several of 100 excuses to continue the war, despite the militant commander in Israel. They are urged and they are warning Benjamin Netanyahu to stop the war and do not invade Gaza because it will lose several of Israeli casualties. But he insists to invade Gaza to make Ben-Gvir and Smotrich more satisfied and more happy, and to save his coalition, far right wing coalition with Smotrich and Ben-Gvir. Okay. So the things is more complicated. The whole international world, all the world, it seems like a paralyzed without any kind of action. So world, it will not make a change. The people continuously displaced, as I mentioned to you yesterday night. Palestinians, they are describing the night is like a horror of the Day of Judgment.
Yes.
There is
Ali, I'm really sorry to interrupt you. That we have run out of time. I'm really sorry. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program. We do have some small updates